I have some bad news. I took Slate back to Best Buy because the pixel issue, the stuck pixels problem was back again. Slate is my Canon G7X Mark II, and I need to get store credit back because I just think like if you pay $1,000 for a camera, there shouldn't be pixel defects and pixel issues. Like, I've never had a pixel issue with any of my other cameras. Panasonic, Nikon. I love Nikon, by the way. If only Nikon had like really, really good vlogging cameras. I just think, you know, that's why I tried the Canon G7X, because that was like kind of like a vlogging camera that was trusted. Tapping meow! Anyway, that's besides the point, but I'm just saying I have to wait another 2 weeks to find out if Slate's gonna be okay or if I'm gonna get my store credit, because yeah, the pixel issue came back. So annoying. So yeah, they're sending it back to the warehouse, and I thought they would just give me the store credit right away, but they didn't. They're like, oh, we have to like make sure or something, which is so annoying, because I think it's just a problem and I just need to have money back, please. Anyway, that's besides the point. Today I wanted to just share some vegan foods that, no, that doesn't make sense, sorry. Some foods that I miss as a vegan. So I've seen a lot of like, you know, what I wish I knew before I became vegan videos, and those are interesting. They're very interesting for me to watch because I'm vegan. But, you know, for anyone who is vegan, maybe you'll relate to this, or if you're thinking of becoming vegan, maybe this is just some foods that you might miss after you become vegan. Because these foods are just hard to come by when you're vegan, and it's hard to come by vegan versions of these foods that are like really, really good and accurate. So the number one thing I say would be pistachio macarons. Like, I used to love pistachio macarons, and I haven't come across any vegan pistachio macarons that were like really pistachio macaroni, you know? Like, I've had some, but it wasn't like the almond extract, the pistachio extract, or whatever. The marzipan flavor wasn't like intense enough. Like, I had one before that was vegan, but it just wasn't, you know, the same as the non-vegan kind. So I'm actually gonna make, you might have seen my other video where I attempted to make pistachio macarons, like vegan pistachio macarons, and I failed miserably because I put wax paper in the oven. And wax paper, I learned, burns immediately if you put it in the oven, so don't make the same mistake. I will make pistachio macarons, and this time I will use parchment paper. That is for sure okay in the oven. So yeah, I hope that they will turn out better this time around. If I do, yeah, I'm gonna venture to make them again because I do have some pistachios right now that I need to use. So yeah, that's like the number one food that I miss. And then number two is probably smoked salmon. Like, I miss salmon, and I haven't found any. Like, I've tried making carrot lox, which, yeah, it's great, but it tastes like carrot still. I mean, people have this thing where they're like, why are you vegan yet you still want to eat these foods that you used to have? It's like, can I just enjoy my life? I mean, veganism, it's just about not wanting to consume dead animals, and that doesn't mean I didn't like the taste of chicken nuggets. And if you're trying to introduce people to a vegan diet, you probably want to give them things that they're familiar with, such as, you know, a vegan version of something that they've already eaten and that they already know they love, like mac and cheese or something. Like, who's gonna just invent, you know, all these new things? Like, it's just not marketable. Who's gonna be like, oh, eat these funguses, they taste like chicken. Like, people aren't gonna advertise it as funguses. They're just gonna say it's vegan chicken or whatever, because it's more advertisement friendly. You know what I mean? So it's not just about, you know, like, we don't wanna like promote the consumption of meat, but like also we do need to have like that space of like, this is what it is, so that people know what it is. So that if you're trying to replicate that taste that you loved when you were a kid and you were eating these McNuggets and whatever, then that's what you tell people it is. It's like a vegan version of chicken. I don't see anything wrong with that, because we grew up with all these foods that don't look like dead chickens. They look like little nuggets, you know? So I hope you know where I'm going with this. I'm sorry if it's like really messy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Smoked salmon is another thing I miss, and I would love to see if there's any like people coming out with vegan versions of smoked salmon that are like more similar to salmon, because that is definitely a food that I liked before I went vegan, but I don't want to eat real salmon. That is the proposition. And then another thing that I miss is like Chinese like snacks and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I ate these like Chinese little white thingies. They're like these like white tiny things, and they're made out of eggs. They're like tiny balls, and they come in a package. It's like One Bingan. I think it's like the same brand or something. One Bingan. There's like these wonton crackers, like those rice crackers. Those are vegan, but there's also the kind that's like got the white stuff, the sprinkly stuff on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's circle, and they've got white sprinkles. Those ones are not vegan because they have egg in it. And then they also make these little tiny little white balls that are like egg balls or something, but they're like cookies. And they're hard cookies, and then when you put it in your mouth, it kind of like melts a little bit. Anyway, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you're Asian, if you're Chinese, you probably do know what I'm talking about. Those are not vegan, but I'd love to see a vegan version of them. They're just like cookies, so I think it's possible. And egg rolls. I did like egg rolls and those like little egg tarts, like all these Chinese snacks and stuff. Oh, and those like egg loaves of cake, you know, like those matcha cakes at TNT, like those matcha cakes that are like, ooh, and they swirly cakes, you know? Yeah, those swirly cake thingies. I miss those too. Yeah. And then what else do I miss? My mom's gonna tell me to go feed Taffy right now. Who is messaging me? Oh my goodness! That's so annoying. I hate when there's interruptions when filming. Those are mostly the things that I miss. I also did miss, you know, the bamboo leaf sticky rice, but then I found out that TNT has vegan ones, like they have vegan flavors. Thank you, Buddhists. So yeah, that's been great. And what else do I miss? I guess I kind of miss egg. Like I really want to try the mung bean versions of egg, you know, because I feel like mung bean is such a good idea for a substitute for egg, because they kind of have like the same egg yolky type of flavor, and like even the appearance of mung bean, like yellow mung bean, is like so similar to egg yolk. So like whoever came up with that as a replacement for egg is like so smart. Because I've heard about all these fast food places that have mung bean egg thingies, and that's so cool. I also miss like, I guess sour cream and onion chips, but like I heard, or I read in some other comments on YouTube that IKEA has vegan sour cream and onion chips. I haven't tried those yet, but I probably will have to try those. So those are like basically the things that I miss. I mean, I don't really miss bacon or beef much, because I guess I wasn't like a huge eater of like steak or beef or bacon before I became vegan. So like, of course this is like a very individual case by case thing, but if you had an upbringing like me, you might miss these same things if you're vegan. And yeah, I'm gonna venture to make those pistachio macarons vegan and see how that goes. And if I don't make another video, then it's because you know, Best Buy is holding my camera hostage, no big deal. I'm just using my Nikon D5100 right now, trusty old DSLR, but the problem with this camera is that I have to like, basically I had to use my hamster as a stand-in for me because I had to, it doesn't have like the autofocus type of thing, so I had to like do a manual focus and then focus it on here, and then, I mean, it does have autofocus, it's just that the autofocus is super loud and just not very effective, so I never use it. So yeah, I used my hamster as a stand-in for me, and then I basically just switched to manual focus. Blah blah blah, you probably don't want to hear this. Anyway, it's just difficult to use my Nikon, and also it doesn't have good audio, so I record the audio separately. So yeah, you might not see another video from me in a while. For a while, I mean, because of my Canon G7X being gone. Slate being gone. Yeah. But I hope this was at least interesting or funny or weird, or you think I'm weird now. And yeah. Okay, you know what? Oop, I'm back. I'm back. Because I thought of some other things that I really do miss as a vegan. I miss like Pocky. Like Pocky even has like a matcha flavor, and I'm so obsessed with matcha flavor. So I definitely miss that. And yeah, like all the Pocky flavors are good, and also like those little koala bears with the chocolate inside, those are good too. I miss those too. And I also miss Coffee Crisp because that is my favorite chocolate. It's only in Canada, so for you Americans who don't know, Coffee Crisp, the best chocolate in the world. It's kind of like Kit Kat, it's kind of like coffee, it's kind of like chocolate. It's really good. It's like a cookie. I don't know. It's like really good. And I made a vegan version of it, which did satisfy my craving for it. So that was fun. And I also miss Ferrero Rocher, which I also made a vegan version of. It wasn't as good as Ferrero Rocher though. What else do I miss? I also miss like Pajoy, like you know those sticks that are like circles, but they're like cookies, and then on the inside there's chocolate. Those are good too. I also miss those. And like those wafer cookies. Like there's vanilla wafer cookies, chocolate wafer cookies, there's so many wafer cookies. Those are all also not vegan, but I'm sure someone's out there like making them vegan. Or making vegan versions of them. So yeah, that's like the good thing about being vegan is there's always lots to look forward to, lots of people making vegan versions of stuff. And like recently, I think I found out, well, I checked the mail and I saw a brochure that Subway is now offering these Beyond Meat sausage balls in a sub. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's just exciting to be vegan. So like, even despite all of these things that you miss while you're vegan, the reason I'm still vegan is because I do care about like not eating animals and animal products, and because to me the good outweighs the bad. So like every time you miss something or you feel tempted by something that's not vegan, you just overcome it, and then you just feel like, wow, I'm like, you know, more than my urges or my cravings, and you can feel positive that you are doing and continuing to commit to something that you believe in. Bye, and see you soon when I have a vlogging camera.